Bro, man, that man Metro ain't make a video in a month, bro. This man trash, bro. Guys, look. Guys, hold on, look. Guys, okay, look. Look. Okay, I'm gonna drop a video, alright? I'm gonna drop a video that y'all been waiting on, alright? No more talking, let's get to the video.
K-Dub.
What's good, YouTube and staff members? It's your boy, Young Metro in the cut.
I'm gonna keep doing this. Okay.
It's your boy, Young Metro in the cut. I can't do too much today, but you know, and we always in a cut. You feel me? Okay, guys, I can explain. Guys, hold on. I can explain. Over this break, I've been planning what to, record. I wanted to drop another reaction video. Then I was like, yo, should I do a skit? Then I was like, yo, should I do another try not to laugh? Because, you know, the last video. Okay. So today we're reacting to 5 meetings with girlfriend's parents. They'll wish you hadn't heard. This is my story. Okay, so this is by Dear Diary. If y'all don't know who Dear Diary is, basically it's this anime type thing, this anime type videos, animated. Why am I saying anime? This is not Naruto. Basically it's this animated type videos that this channel makes, and they do these videos of oh, this is my story, like adults and kids and teenagers, you know, they all tell their story about what happened to them and stuff. Okay, so that's what we're reacting to today. We're gonna do 2 videos because y'all want a longer video, so this is what I'm gonna do for y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna watch it on my computer, and y'all already know the rules from the last video. It's gonna pop up right here. Yeah, right here. Okay, why am I talking? Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into it. You feel me? I'm coming back.
This happened about 2 weeks ago, and I think I'll never live it down. My girlfriend and I have been together for about 3 years, and as I'm deeply in love with her, I decided that I wanted to propose. My mother gave me my grandma's ring, and I considered it an honor. I was, of course, very excited, but still horribly nervous. I got home, got down on one knee, and she said yes.
Hey.
Obviously, it was an important moment in my life, and what came next became even more memorable. Now, everyone usually does their engagement announcements the same way. They get a close-up picture of their hands with a ring on or something. I proposed to my fiancé that we do something funny and different. and she agreed.
What was
We
different?
decided to take a picture of me completely naked, laying in bed, with her hand in the foreground, covering my privates with the ring on.
Bro,
We thought
what?
it was hilarious, and we sent it to all the
Bro, what's
family
up
members.
with the man?
Well, soon we got the
His name
responses,
looked like- he looked like
and
a
we
Louis.
understood
Like-
we had taken the picture on
Okay,
live
let me
mode. When you held it down, my girlfriend's hand would move out of the way,
Oh.
leaving a perfect naked shot of me. I got a message from my brother-in-law
one-
with a picture of my sister looking
can't
at her
get
phone
demonetized.
and screaming. My mother
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
one also got her first unsolicited nude from her son, no less. It definitely was a day I'll never forget. Nor will my family, obviously.
By the way, dear diary, if y'all watching this, most likely y'all not. Look,
So it happened during this quarantine.
email me.
See, my girlfriend and I
Talk
invited
about
her
y'all
mother to
videos.
stay with us
Yeah,
so she wouldn't
son.
feel lonely.
You know,
I woke up one morning, saw that my girlfriend wasn't in bed, and heard the shower in our bathroom. I decided to join her and maybe, play around a bit. I got fully naked and opened the door. It was so steamy that I could only see her figure behind the shower
Hope we
doors,
don't copyright
And
it.
this sensual, seductive music was playing through the speakers, and I decided to play it cool like in the movie. So I tiptoed in, wrapped my hands around her waist, and started kissing her from behind. But she started screaming. I thought she was playing, so I said in a deep voice, "Baby, it's just me," and tried again. Only when she shouted my name, it
This is
dawned
getting
on
good.
me.
Hold up.
I was feeling up my girlfriend's mother. I was so shocked, I stood there for about 5 seconds while she was covering
Bro,
herself
can I eat
and
my
ran out.
breakfast?
After that, I hid in the garage for 2 hours straight, trying not to die of embarrassment. When I worked up the courage to see them again, I found them both sitting in the living room. So my mother says you two had quite a morning. My girlfriend mumbled. They both looked so serious and
Both look the
angry.
same. They
I
look
started
like
mumbling my
sisters.
side of the story as their faces changed and they broke into laughter. It turns out the bathroom downstairs wasn't working properly, so my girlfriend suggested her mom should try ours. Now I'm quarantining with both
Wait,
of them,
hold on.
mostly trying to work through the awkward phase with my girlfriend and trying to avoid eye contact with her mom. Needless to say, I am done with surprises.
Worst birthday cake ever. You look like a.
It happened
Oh,
on my
okay.
girlfriend's birthday.
That was
I
close
hadn't
to
met
what
her
I was thinking.
parents yet because they lived in a different state, but I wanted to ask for her hand in marriage. I knew I had to make an amazing first impression for them to invite me into their family. I remembered this amazing bakery that my girlfriend liked. So one day, while she was showering, I called them and tried explaining what kind of cake I wanted. I want 3 tiers and a lot of chocolate flowers, I said while tiptoeing
What?
around
I'm
the room
thirsty.
so she wouldn't hear me.
Okay.
I wanted to say I love. As I was finishing the sentence, I slipped on her clothes thrown on the floor and cursed. Then I finally managed to get a grip
Wait,
and finish
what?
the sentence. You. It cost me a ton of cash, but I thought that this big gesture would make all the difference. Her birthday was that Saturday, but she went to her parents a couple days before. On Saturday, I got the cake and drove to her parents' home. I got there in the evening and made a grand entrance with the big cake box and a personal gift. At first, everything was going splendid. I asked them to all stand together and took out my phone to record their reactions. "Open the box," I said, smiling, ready for applause. My girlfriend opened the box and they all took a look.
Wait, but what
Suddenly,
happened?
her father gave me a look like he was gonna kill me. Her mother covered her mouth
Wait,
with a
what?
hand,
What did he do?
disgusted. I put the phone back in my pocket and went around to see the cake.
Bro, that's the worst
I
baker in the
immediately remember
world.
the day I
If you
ordered the cake and
misunderstood
that
somebody,
probably the guy misunderstood
and,
me
like,
and wrote everything I said during
bro,
the call. Which
fire
was,
him.
I love F you. I was mortified. I literally squeezed out a tear when her father
Dang,
put his
something
hand on my
so
back.
hard.
I mumbled the was supposed to say I love you.
Figures you
I was
look-
face palming so hard that my forehead was red. I turned my head to her father and he started laughing, pointing at my forehead. Her mother joined in. And that's how my biggest fail turned into a memory I'll never forget. Her father, now my father-in-law, won't ever let me forget this.
Okay. Wait, what was his name again?
So, this is mostly the story of the internet giving me major trust issues on April Fool's Day. My girlfriend and I had been together for like 7 months, so I was
Oh, you
pretty new to
green
her
for that.
family and didn't
Don't
always
tell
get
me.
the vibe. But this one time, I messed up in the most glorious way. One day, I got a group text from my girlfriend's side of the family,
Wait,
saying that there was an
you said
emergency
divorce
family
thing?
meeting at her mother's house. I immediately had April Fool's spidey senses tingling, but I thought, let's see. We were the last ones to arrive, and it was a dreadful atmosphere when we walked in. As we sat at the table, her father informed everyone that her mother was having an affair and that they were divorcing. The man was from a family that they had been friends with for years,
Wait.
so everyone was shocked. Honestly, I'd always thought that both families were picture perfect. Hell, we'd all had a barbecue together just a week ago. Anyway, after about an hour of airing dirty laundry, questions, answers, crying, there was silence. So, I broke the silence with laughter and a slow clap. God damn, I said. This was the best April Fool's gag I've
Thanks.
ever seen.
Thank you.
Everyone in the room looked horrified.
No, I do not have
My
corona.
girlfriend's
Do
mom
not
left
even
the room
say that in
sobbing
comments.
from humiliation and shame. My girlfriend started berating me for trying to make a joke out of
Hold
a
up.
serious
So
situation.
you're
and I
telling
saw
me
her eyes
you
filling
made
with
a
tears.
whole April Fool?
Obviously, this was not a
Well,
ruse.
it was like.
I guess I should
like
learn to read the room
verse or
better before
something.
going all in with my comedy routine.
Michael.
I'm just glad my girlfriend is gracious enough to not break up with me over a terrible joke. And I'll try my best to be a bit more empathetic during this painful time.
No, Michael. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide. Okay, shut up. shut
This
up.
thing happened
Alright,
2 years
alright,
ago to our relationship. We were going through a pretty rough patch. After some brutal fights, she went out to live with her mother for a while.
Please stop.
Then, after a couple of weeks, they invited me for some family celebration, and I went in hopes of reconciling and working on our relationship. When I walked into the yard, I saw her and her parents already sitting in front of the table and dining.
Why did that?
I said hello and went to grab a steak, with all of them watching over me. Then her mother stood up and said, "Nope, not that one,"
Bro,
and
they
put the
food
bigger one on my
poisoning.
plate. I didn't want to make any fuss,
They food
so I sat close to my
That's the
girlfriend and
only
started eating. With the first
If they
bite,
all
I
looking at
already
you, bro,
noticed that it
it's
tasted
obviously
funny.
a sign.
They were all making small
trust
talk while
yourself.
glancing at me chewing.
Cannot trust your
I
girl.
took a few more bites and couldn't eat anymore. I tried being gentle about it, saying that I was pretty full already. Her mom took my
I
plate,
told you,
threw the
bro.
steak away,
Michael,
and started
listen.
mumbling what an inconsiderable man I was.
You're black, bro.
As I
Come
made
on.
my big apology speech, I felt my stomach turning. I ran to the bathroom, and as I was stuck in there all alone with no one coming to check up on me, I started wondering if I'd been purposefully given food poisoning. As being manipulative was kind of a character trait for these women, I snuck out of their home.
Yo,
I spent 2 days in bed, feeling like I'd had the life sucked
Wait,
out of me.
there was
And
a
after about
rabbit?
2 weeks of agonizing
was the
fights,
sleeping
I broke
bag?
up with her. I have no idea if they did this on purpose, but I'm pretty happy I managed to get them out of my life
Hey.
with all my organs healthy and intact.
that was lit. Next video is I was punished for being gay in the most horrible way. This is my story.
Hello, everyone.
there better not be
My name is
people
Bella,
mad.
and I'm
Oh,
18
okay.
years
Yeah.
old. About 3 years ago,
I feel it's
my
all heavy
parents
for that.
punished me for being gay in the most horrible way. And then I found
Dear
out
Diary,
why.
You know,
Even though my parents had no clue,
email me.
I knew that I was gay pretty
I'm trying to
early
react
in
to
my
y'all
life.
videos sometimes.
I've had beautiful friendships with guys and girls.
Us one-on-one.
But when I was daydreaming about the
Just
meet
talking out.
cutes in the middle of the street and one true love, the only image that would come to
Y'all
my
want,
mind
like,
was a girl.
Every Sunday.
I didn't actually
reaction.
struggle
I know
that much with
today's
the
not
idea,
Sunday,
but I
I'm
didn't
just
tell
saying.
anyone either. I don't know why exactly, but when I was 15, I started wishing that I would have just kept my mouth shut.
No reaction.
That day, I was hanging around at my best friend Damien's house. He was one of those upper middle class, I'm against everything that my rich parents do type of kids.
Damien.
We were swimming in his pool, joking around, when he swam up to me and kissed me.
I already knew that.
I tried pushing him away, but he kept forcing himself on me. Finally, as I got myself out of his claws,
Did
he
you
looked
just go up
enraged.
to somebody?
I like you, Bella, Damien screamed, as if it was more of an accusation than a confession. He managed to cover the whole emotional spectrum, from rage to resentment to crying hysterically. I still felt like I owed him an explanation, so I came out to him. Damien, I'm gay.
I don't
His
even know what to
reaction
say
was
right now.
mostly saying, oh, and then proceeding to swim and play around as if this whole situation had never happened. I went home that very
What?
evening, sat in my room reading a book, not really pondering what had happened earlier, when my father came in. His face looked mysterious, like I couldn't really read what he was thinking, as if he had 3 different emotions at the same time. He said, "Pack your bags. You and your mom are going on a trip tomorrow." That was obviously strange, as we didn't really travel much, but I knew better than to disobey my father, as he could be a little bit dictator-like if you started questioning him. The next morning, my mom came into my room and said that we were going. I tried interrogating her on where, but she wouldn't budge. As we were driving, my sweet mom was silent as a mouse. Finally, we arrived at this strange institution that
Don't
looked
even
like
go in the
something between a
comments.
camp and a
Metro,
mental ward.
You so racist. Man,
We went into an office where a middle-aged woman was
I'm
sitting
not.
as if she was waiting for us.
I'm just saying they skin
Hello,
color, though.
Karen, she greeted my mom.
That's it.
As I was looking around the room, it dawned on me. I felt
Bro,
my
she
heart
already
sinking to
looks
the
sus.
ground. I
Already
looked at my
looks-
loving mom, who wouldn't even make eye contact with me.
She don't look gay though.
The
but,
woman,
like, a lot of girls
the
do.
counselor, smiled at
shut
me
up.
with this
Let me shut
horror
up.
movie smile and said, "Follow me. I'm gonna show you to your room."
We're
My mom
gone.
didn't even say goodbye.
We're
I
gone.
sat in a strange room on a bed
We're
that now
gone.
belonged to me for
We're
I don't
gone.
know how long,
We're gone,
and
bro.
tried to grasp the idea
not
that my
coming back,
mom
that's all
had
I'm
just
saying.
drove me and left me in
But hey,
conversion
y'all already know
therapy.
how it go.
One of
Guess
those
what,
radical
everybody?
institutions that try to manipulate and abuse you to change
Stay.
your sexuality. That night, I barely
I'm telling
slept
y'all, bro.
because I felt like I had nobody in the entire world,
Y'all
and I
see
knew I'd been
something sus,
betrayed
bro?
by none other than my
Follow that.
best friend. The next month was a nightmare. I had no way to contact the outside world.
But he didn't even.
Every morning, the counselor gave me unknown
Hmm.
medication that made me dizzy and weak.
But how could it have been?
Then
him,
I'd have
though?
to endure this intense group therapy where we were forced to reveal our most intimate thoughts and then be punished for them. We had to learn to hate ourselves. Sometimes they'd invite us one by one into the room and force us to look at straight
Wow.
adult films. As the counselor
That's
kept
crazy,
telling me
bro.
that I'd rot in hell for being gay, I felt like I was already in hell. It actually started working. Just maybe not exactly in the way they imagined. I did hate myself. Every time I'd look at another girl in the camp, I felt disgusted. I wanted to throw up or to run away just to keep myself from thinking the thoughts that were straight from the devil's mouth. When I arrived, I befriended this one girl, Sally, who was about the same age as me. But as we spent more and more time in these horrific lessons, we started turning on each other. One time, I heard her in the bathroom talking on the phone, which was not allowed. She sounded happy and, God forbid, in love. Rage came over me. It was so unfair
but
and
what's the
unjust
rainbow
that
under
someone
the
got to experience
toilet?
happiness, but
I
not
know y'all see
me.
that.
I ran straight to the counselor's office to tell on her, but I was mortified by what I found in there. As I walked up to the door, I heard moaning.
Snitch
And
much?
not the pray the
What you
gay away
telling on
kind
her
of
for?
moaning. I opened the door to see 2 women on
Oh,
the
someone
table,
getting piped down,
kissing.
bro. That's the only option.
caressing each other. I immediately understood that one of them was the counselor. But the other seemed familiar to me too. Her long brown hair, her skinny legs, and the
alright.
long, colorful skirt. I think the whole state heard my scream. I screamed so loudly that the two women jumped from the table and nearly fell out of the window. The three of us were standing and looking at each other like we were in some Western standoff, waiting for one of us to draw the gun and shoot. The counselor,
that's her
still
mom?
trying to hold on to her dignity,
Bro,
sat
out
on the
of all,
chair
hold
as
up,
if
let me
nothing
speak to the
happened.
mom.
The
Out
other
of
woman
All the
My
people
mom
you could have picked, you choose
walked
that
out of the
counselor?
room, not even looking at me. But this
That's
time,
the person you choose?
I wouldn't
This-
let it slide. This time, I wouldn't just silently obey their orders as they jailed me like some kind of criminal. I stormed out of the room and followed my mom. I think she was ready to run, but I managed to stop her.
Yo, love yourself, bro.
Leave me alone.
No matter
You're
what
a
sexual
disgrace.
mentality you
I
got,
hate
bro.
you. She was spewing, sobbing, barely breathing. At that moment, I wasn't even angry. I felt pity.
But you
Do you
don't
hate
want.
me? Or do you hate yourself? I asked my mom. Do you even know what they do here?
Ooh,
My mom sat on the
Ooh.
ground, sobbing like a little girl.
ooh.
I'd never seen her so
Gee.
small. Yes, I was sent here too, she answered. We sat on the ground for about an hour as she finally reached for my hand, calmed herself down, and
I
said,
don't count. It's my mom's
"Let's go."
son. I'm not gonna say
I left my suitcase and a bunch of clothes there, but they didn't matter anymore.
stuff already tough.
We got into the car and left for good.
What computer?
My
is
mom
that?
and I were driving for about
iMovie?
4 hours
Okay.
straight until she pulled up at some motel. I didn't understand. I started panicking, you know? Was it possible she'd leave me again? She asked for a room, and as we settled down in the motel, Mom said, "We have to make a plan." She was scared that if we went back, my father would do unspeakable things or turn us into some more horrible institutions. That's how I ended up living in a
Just
motel
because
for
they
about
was
half
gay,
a
though?
year.
Like,
My mom got a job in the motel as an administrator and
I mean, don't get
managed
me
to
wrong,
finalize
like,
her
father,
divorce.
of course, you feel some type of
I
way
didn't
if
see
you-
my
you
father
found
again.
Your wife was gay.
I didn't even get my stuff from home as he simply threw it all away. During those
Of
months,
course you
I
wouldn't.
tried remembering my childhood, life,
He ain't
before
grabbing
all
milk either.
this. How normal it looked. How many friends I had. How happy I was. I guess part of growing up was figuring out that life isn't perfect, that your parents have flaws and secrets. Finally, we managed to rent a small apartment, Mom and me, and I got to go to a normal school again. We bonded a bit as she told me her story, how her parents treated her,
Okay.
and how they pretty much arranged her marriage. I managed to deal with what happened to me in that camp, and even got myself my
Oh,
first girlfriend this year. I reconnected with Sally,
So they
and we
basically
even
did
helped her to
accept
get out of her
the way she
abusive
was.
parents' home.
Okay.
I decided that that's what I want to do. To help people who are left and abandoned by the ones that are supposed to love them. The only thing I regret is that my mom never got the support she needed. And looking at her now, I'm really afraid that she's never going to be able to fully accept herself. And that's what everybody deserves.
Did you like this story? Don't forget to like.
That's sweet. Round of applause, bro. Alright, man. This is the end. You know, this is the end of the video. This is like probably like the most longest video I've made. We're making progress, bro. Look, more subscribers. But look, this is the end of it. This is the end of the video, man. Make sure you like, comment, and if you're a new staff member, hit that subscribe, bro. Wait, did I say it already? Okay, make sure you like, comment, and if you're new to the channel, if you're a new staff member, subscribe. Turn on post notifications. hit that bell.
People think I'm icy. I ain't got no wifey. People really like me. I got all this.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Turn on post notifications. I love y'all.
I took a right.
We always in a cut.
She don't bite.
And we out.
I took a left. I took a right. I don't like her, but I got red.